Something happened in Washington that's hard to believe, even for Washington. In just 76 days from the moment Donald Trump was elected in November 2024 until Joe Biden left the White House in January, the Department of Energy under Biden disbursed $93 billion in taxpayer loans. That's billion with a B. And it's more than double what the same department handed out over the prior 15 years combined. I'm laughing because I'm so angry and this is so outrageous. This is our money. Now, here's the part that's got lawmakers furious. Many of these loans went to companies that didn't even submit a business plan. No financials, no project timeline, no evidence that they were even solvent, just promises. And $93 billion later, the American people are supposed to be okay with that. That's us, by the way, me and you, and whoever else might be watching. So Senator John Kennedy was not happy. In a Senate hearing this week, he pressed Energy Secretary Chris Wright, who was appointed by President Trump, for answers. And what came out left the room stunned. Wright said the due diligence just wasn't done. Projects were approved without data, some with no plan at all. The money was shoveled out the door anyways. I wonder why. And this is where the scandal begins, and this is where the Trump administration is stepping in to clean it up. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. My name's Tom. I'm with the Daily Beltway. I'm also publisher of the Illinois Review and a White House correspondent for the Next News Network. So the story broke wide open on May 22nd Senate Appropriations Subcommittee hearing. The session was supposed to be about next year's Department of Energy budget, but it quickly turned into a crisis meeting after Secretary of Energy Chris Wright dropped the bombshell. $93 billion in loans were pushed out the door by Biden's team during the lame duck window between Trump's election and Biden's exit. That was a lot to go through. So, meaning the day Trump was elected, until the day he took office, they gave away $93 billion to anybody who applied for it, just because, you know what? Boom, push it. And that amount was 4 times what they've spent over the last 15 years. And if you guys think this money went to long-established firms with solid records, you're dead wrong. Many recipients didn't even have business plans. Some didn't provide solvency data. Others simply promised they would figure it out later. We can't go and get a business loan for $10 without a business plan from any bank. But these guys just handed out $93 billion. You guys, I love I love Senator Kennedy, and I'm sure you do. This is him doing his thing. Let's check it out.
The 76-day period you're talking about, that's the period between the time that President Trump was elected and President Biden left office. Is that right?
That is correct.
And during that short period of time, 76 days, how much taxpayer money went out the door of the Department of Energy?
From the Loan Program Office in loans and commitments, $93 billion. Well over twice as much as in the previous 15 years. So,
how do you vet and do due diligence on a loan in 76 days? One loan, much less $93 billion. How do you do it?
I think it's probably pretty clear it wasn't done in many cases. As I mentioned, I'm told I'm holding back clearly in place stuff. There is lots of funds that have gone out the door and commitments that were made from businesses that provided no business plan, no numbers about their own financial solvency or how this project
So
can
you're
actually
telling
work.
me that the Department of Energy, in the 76-day period, before their boss was going to leave office, gave or loaned money to entities that had no business plan?
Correct.
No financials?
Correct. A number of those were were before the 76-day period as well. I've come in with great concern about how this institution, this great American institution, has been run and how American taxpayer money has been handled. I'm sorry.
Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. But Senator Kennedy later summed it up saying, that's not just distasteful, that undermines confidence. He asked how you can vet a loan in that short of a time. Wright didn't sugarcoat it, and he said you can't. And in many cases, they didn't even try. Now let's talk about what these loans were supposedly for. The Biden Department of Energy used a loan programs office to pump out funding for green energy projects, electric vehicle networks, hydrogen hubs, renewable grids, all under the umbrella of Inflation Reduction Act. That old wonderful bill. But here's the catch. Most of this spending frenzy didn't happen while Biden was pushing the bill. It happened after he lost the election. Now, from November 8th, 2024 until January 20th, 2025, the Department of Energy turned the loan office into a cash cannon. $93 billion in taxpayer obligations. That's more than $1.2 billion per day. And what's worse, Wright even said some of these loans are already too far gone to recover. Others might be rolled back, but it won't be easy. His team is going project by project, reviewing every single penny. Let's be clear. This is not about clean energy versus fossil fuels. This is about competence, accountability, and respect for taxpayer money, my money, your money, our kids' money. The interest on those loans is going to go for generations. It's not just done right now. The Trump administration says they're investigating what happened, and I know they are. Some lawmakers are already calling for referrals to the Department of Justice if fraud is found. Criminal charges should be likely. Pam Bondi doesn't mess around unless it's the Epstein documents, but let's not get into that. Wright is also moving fast to cancel Biden's Green New Scam policies, cutting $15 billion in DOE regulations and streamlining energy approvals. And he's bringing back liquid natural gas exports, nuclear priorities, and infrastructure plans that actually benefit working Americans. This was not a mistake, guys. It was a pattern. Democrats rushing to lock in spending while they still had power and shoveling money out the door. And now Trump's team has to go through the wreckage like they always do. These guys were writing blank checks, signing pardons for people for money. Absolutely disgusting. So if you guys got value from this news update, tap subscribe. Let's get into why it actually matters. So this story matters for one reason: trust. We are a republic built on accountability, not elite giveaways. And when $93 billion is handed out in secret behind closed doors with no paperwork and no oversight, and giving it to their probably insiders, something is deeply wrong. This isn't about the climate. It wasn't about jobs. It wasn't about the future. It was about politics. The Biden administration lost the election, and they wanted to screw Trump over. And instead of leaving quietly, they went on a final shopping spree with your money. They spent it fast, they spent it sloppy, and they spent it without care. Our money. I'm very angry about this. These are my kids' retirement accounts. These are things that we have to pay for a generation. And now President Trump's team is now tasked with cleaning up that mess. And Chris Wright deserves credit for being honest about what happened. I mean, imagine going in front of Senate and being like, hey, by the way, $93 billion additional dollars is gone. And he had the goomfa to go in front of the world and tell everybody that it happened. There's something different about this administration, and it's accountability. But honestly, honesty isn't enough. We need accountability. I want to see people get arrested for this. Because if they can get away with this, what's next? If an outgoing administration can shove nearly $100 billion out the door with no checks and no consequences, what's stopping the next one from doing even worse? And the answer has to be us. Patriots watching, asking questions, demanding answers. And that's why I say stay informed, stay engaged, and always remember, this republic does not defend itself. We do. God bless you guys.